health service. There's no point ducking it and trying to pretend someone else will pay for it. And within the 6 billion that would raise, we want to set aside a significant proportion for mental health because it's been neglected. But there are many smaller things you can do. One of the really brilliant things in this adult college, which Flint supervises, is a programme of helping people with mental health problems to take classes here, helping to keep them in the community and active. It was actually something I got money for when I was in the government, but adult colleges across the country are now doing it. And what is very important is that people who have mental health are not necessarily institutionalised.
We met for when it considers any airport expansion, and those are to do with noise mitigation, ensuring that air quality levels can still be met, ensuring that the growth, that it will support growth across the UK. And my personal view is that expansion, that a third runway at Heathrow does not meet those tests, which is why I'm personally opposed to it.
Letter to me when I was MP, which I did use to take directly to the Secretary of State. Very well reasoned, because although the core educational budget's been protected for London, there is a relative cut. 70% of the school's budget is on wages. We need to keep our teachers in London, there's higher wages. And the teachers' pension scheme, although it's one of the best I think you can get, we need to protect that.
I'm so allowed to call myself the sitting MP for Richmond Park. I obviously won the by-election here in December. We had such fun doing that election, thought we'd do it all over again. So it really is a huge pleasure to be here at this Hustings this evening. I think the by-election in December, it really did send a very, very strong message to the government about the strength of feeling in this particular area, about Brexit and about the government's handling of those negotiations. And Theresa May, in calling the general election, explicitly said it was because of the Liberal Democrats, all 9 of us, that she needed to call the general election because we were threatening to disrupt it so much. So I'm quite proud of that, and what I would really, really like is for the voters of Richmond Park to send another very clear message to the Tories next week that we don't like the direction that she wants to take the country. We don't like the dementia tax, we don't like the removal of free school meals from school children, we don't like cuts to school funding. And I personally, and I hope some of you who will agree with me, I don't like the way that she's approaching these Brexit negotiations.
Locally, on grammars, what I have said is that I am not against them. I think in our area, we're not going to be the ones that get the grammar schools. We're not considered an area of deprivation. But I always talk about Richmond upon Thames College in Twickenham, because there are some students that go to Oxford or Cambridge, there are some students that get the top carpentry qualifications, and there are other students who exceed expectations, and some of those students have learning difficulties, but they exceed in what they're expected to do. And that community where everybody applauds each other and part of one body, I think is a great choice for parents. But I accept there may be some parents that wish to send their child to a grammar school, and I would not stop that.
Thank you very much. Is Derek Mason here? Derek, you, I think, have got a question on social care.
UKIP is not just about Brexit. There are a myriad of things which I touched on in my speech that the UK need to consider. And we have great issues around our education, the ability for some of the young to be able to be educated, and further education in a field, whether it be in academia or whether it be in other areas. The hospital, the NHS, to a certain extent, is in a bit of a chaos.
Well, I can do. I think we do have a parliamentary system. There has been a referendum which has mandated the government to negotiate the best deal for Brexit, and that will be voted on by our Parliament. Those were the terms of the referendum legislation. And I think that the suggestion that there would be a second referendum adds this uncertainty principle into the negotiation, because why would the European partners give Britain a good deal if they thought that there might be a second referendum?
I'm going to stop you there because I want to get as many as possible.
If that's Theresa May, I think she's already shown herself during this campaign, she's given herself a reputation for panicky U-turns in the face of public opinion, far from the strong and stable message that she's giving out. And that has been noticed in the European capitals. I don't think that they are particularly concerned about having to face Mrs May over the negotiating table.
And our position is that air quality, this airport is breaking European air quality standards, breaking British air quality standards as they will become after Brexit. We're taking them to court with 3 other councils, and we're very confident that we can win that case and stop the thing.
You're absolutely right. That's how schools should be funded. Every school in this area is currently facing a massive cut in terms of their actual budgets. I've spoken to some really worried parents and teachers on the doorstep. I'm speaking to head teachers who think they're going to have to cut teaching staff next year because they can't afford to pay for them, because the money they're being given is not keeping pace with their costs. And it is precisely the point that you mentioned, that the Conservatives backtracked on their promise to give to maintain levels of funding per pupil per year.
Thank you so much for coming along and making this work. Thank you very much, everyone.